Thought what he said is true. You know, he's watching his star left tackle take up for his QB, and he sees one of the most popular players take a couple swipes. But I can tell you what happened to Matthews. He takes one punch, that hurts your hand. Yeah. So the next one ain't coming back as knuckles. I don't care what Harbaugh or anybody else says. That thing hurts. That thing zings all the way up to the elbow as soon as you give him one to the mask. So you realize this is not face. This is a face mask.
Wait a second. So you're okay with Jim Harbaugh basically saying Klay Matthews is kind of a fake tough guy? Right?
I think where Harbaugh was, he's trying to get his team on board with how he did it. Because he talked about protecting Kaepernick even coming into the week before the game. Because Matthews had made some comments. He's coming downhill, which he did. And Kaepernick, he responded. You know, he took some shots. But I like the whole way the thing played out. I think the way Staley came to Kaepernick's defense meant a lot to me. I appreciated that he'd go out of bounds and go over there. I did not think Staley deserved a penalty at all. I thought that was trash. But you know, Matthews took a shot. I'd tell you, I thought, honestly, they were going to kick him out of the game. Just because the ref was right there.
Kick who out of the game?
Matthews.
Thank you.
He said that yesterday.
Thank you.
Because he takes two shots and the ref is right there.
Wait a second. Let me ask you a question. Do you think they should have kicked him out of the game? You thought they were.
Yeah, I thought they were. That's just the NFL's rule. I mean, you know, who are you going to hurt? You're hitting somebody in the helmet, so nobody's really getting hurt. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's their rule. So I did think with the ref being right there and him taking two haymakers, they were going to do something. But obviously that didn't shake out.
Stephen A., your take.
Well, first of all, I don't think anybody seems to be working harder at being tough than Jim Harbaugh, to be honest with you. I mean,
so you don't think he is tough?
No. I think he's very tough. I think he's very tough. I don't think there's anything phony about it. But it amazes me for somebody so naturally tough that he works at being tough. He's a coach. I mean, I remember Super Bowl week. We all knew who the big brother was. You understand? John Harbaugh walks in there. He's suited down. We're addressing the media. We're here to talk business, etc. So he shows up there like he's getting ready to coach on the sideline. You know what I mean? It's like, and it was after your mama and daddy were there. You understand? And they were dressed up.
In sweat.
It's like, come on now. It's like he doesn't seem to have, seems to be aloof to all of that. Which is why I said he works at being tough, even though he naturally is tough. But I love Jim Harbaugh as a coach, just like I love his brother John Harbaugh. I think they're both great coaches. Yeah. I think they both established a lot. I think Jim Harbaugh will be a Super Bowl champion coach. He is the real deal. He is legit. And his personality has been, implanted in that team.
Yep.
And I think that when you go up against them, you have to have the attitude of a Klay Matthews. I don't think Klay Matthews works at being tough. I do believe he is tough.
Yeah.
I do believe he is effective. He's certainly more effective thus far in game one than he was last season, as far as I'm concerned, even though that game on Monday night against Seattle was a big-time performance when they got robbed of that. Robbed. But I will tell you, in the end, I don't have a problem with this. And the one thing that I don't like about having to talk about it, I don't want to give the NFL any excuse to keep their eyes, have more eyeballs on a particular team or particular players or a particular style of play, whatever the case may be. What Ndamukong Suh did, which we'll talk about later, to me was inexcusable. You can't have that kind of stuff going on. Klay Matthews, again, he launched his body at him, but he didn't hit him with the crown of the helmet or anything. Yes, he was out of bounds, but at the same time, this is the sport of football. You're trying to send a message. You got the penalty. You got to deal with it.
Go up around the man's neck and yank him.
Again, I thought it was I thought it was, that's right. I thought it was the chest, though. I didn't think it was the neck. I thought it was the upper chest. All right? So for me, I just look at it from that perspective. You're trying to send a message against the real bad boys of the NFL, which is the San Francisco 49ers. These are the real bad boys. These boys are physical on both sides of the football. They got skills. They've got talent.
That Seattle secondary is
Seattle. I said both sides of the football. Right. What Seattle is on defense, San Francisco is on both sides of the football.
Yep.
And that's why I say they're the real, because everybody knows they're coming.
Okay, I have to take issue with one point that you made to start your soliloquy.
Sure.
You said that Jim Harbaugh has to work at being a tough guy. I do not believe that for 1 second. He is a tough guy. He shows you every day in his actions he's a tough guy. He combines his toughness with what I think is a high intellect, because this was a very subtle way of saying to Klay Matthews, you're a little bit of a fake tough guy, without coming right out and saying it. To say, it's just beautiful to me, and I loved it just as you did. But to say he has to work at being a tough guy is a beautiful way to couch what you're saying. He's going to have to now repair his image a little bit with the open-handed slap. But he wasn't playing in these comments. This wasn't facetious on his part. He's still raw from the fact, as you suggest, that was offsetting penalties? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
After a blatant cheap shot followed by your left tackle running to the defense of your quarterback and just getting in Clay Matthews' face, and he goes 2 roundhouses, and then, like you said, probably hurt his hand, so he slaps him, and then it's offsetting. Are you kidding me? And I know they misapplied the penalty after. Who cares about that?
I did.
Well, it should have been about 30 yards of penalties on Clay Matthews.
They got an extra down, which gave them the touchdown. Should have been 4th down.
Okay, but again, they miscalled the play to start before we misapplied it. Before,
They got it wrong before
they got it wrong before they got it wrong.
They made a bunch of mistakes
before they got it wrong. Yeah.
I will say this: Clay Matthews is not a fake tough guy. I mean,
no, I
Yeah,
understand. But
I know Harbaugh is trying to take a little shot at him. But at the end of the day, Matthews did exactly what he said he was going to do leading into the week. He said, "Look, he pulls that ball. I'm coming downhill. I'm going to lay it down." He
was going to do it 5 yards out of bounds.
Well, he was like you said, he was running. He did leap. He was getting into white.
That wasn't a spread option run. It was a scramble.
You know, I mean, Matthews said what he was going to do, and he did it. And you can't be mad when a guy says what he's going to do. He made everybody aware in the stadium. That's what he's going to do. That's tough. When a guy says it and then does it, that to me increases his toughness.
But Clay does do a lot of.
Well, listen. I call him.
Look at that. He is yoked up. I do it too.
That's why I was going to. I call him the long-headed Popeye. That's what he eats a lot of spinach. But I will tell you. But you also have to. We talk about sending a message. The Green Bay Packers defense needed a message themselves.
Absolutely.
They were awful last year. And you got well, they were awful, period, most of the time. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't like their defense all last year, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a few games where they looked relatively decent, but there were other games where they just wet the bed. I just look at them from the standpoint that you needed to send a message that this year is going to be better. We're going to be more menacing. We're going to come after. Because I think the biggest challenge they're going to face all year is what they faced Sunday.
Okay.
With Colin Kaepernick.
So they were better on defense, and they only gave up 500 yards.
I'm just saying. Listen,
Kaepernick went. I mean,
they're going to come.
That's unbelievable.
Skip. They're going to come. Skip, San Francisco's going to do that to a lot of people.
That's right. That's right. And Green Bay had to set the tempo. They got to play well with San Fran. They got to play well against Seattle. Those are the teams. It ain't about division. It's about playoffs.